Hello.
Hi,
Oops.
Harold.
Hi, how are you?
Baruch Hashem. How is it
Good.
going?
Good. Good. Ready for a night of learning.
Actually, I have to be honest. I
Yeah.
have really thoroughly enjoyed Sanhedrin.
Oh, okay. It's a it's a good balance. It's a good balance.
It is.
It has enough stories that I can follow along and not get overloaded with details.
I just think that it's fascinating, the whole thing.
Yeah, considering this is 2,000 years ago, they're thinking of these things, considering
The,
everything.
the other thing that I was going to bring up is I haven't been learning with you for the past week because I was away,
Oh,
and is the fundamental value that you see the rabbis place on every individual soul.
oh, true, true.
And
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if they were good or bad, every person
counts. Yeah,
counts.
yeah, yeah.
The idea that they would, the idea that they would protect the person that was being condemned to death so that they couldn't judge him at night. They had to wait to judge him the next day and
Uh-huh.
think on it overnight is, is profound.
Yes, yeah, interesting. We were in Costa Rica 2 weeks ago for winter break with our kids, uh, and I know Panama is a destination, but do people go to Guatemala? Is that a destination?
It is, but it's it's more you need to really know how to do it, whereas Costa Rica is easier. Um, Guatemala can be a incredibly beautiful place, especially there are different Indian relics there that are just
Oh,
phenomenal. So
because
I would say yes.
I
Ernie
don't
is
I,
was
I don't
saying that he's mad at me because when I was in yeshiva with him in Rambam,
right.
I never took him down to Guatemala. I took a bunch
Oh,
of other guys to Guatemala with me.
oh,
Uh,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's interesting. Back in the day, I didn't get to hang out. What I discovered now, thinking back, I didn't get to hang on with the guys who went to Hillel as much. So I was hanging with some of the other crew of
Oh, the Yavna
yeah, the
crew.
Yavna groups. So that's why I think, I became very good friends with Ronnie Nagel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
So
looking at a map here. There's quite a big coastline on the Pacific. Quite a big.
very large.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, there's even a tiny bit that's in the Caribbean. Is it? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That is interesting because the Brits took British Honduras from Guatemala. They just took it.
Oh, oh.
So that's how that came about. I mean, it wasn't that they had any right to it. Thank you.
So all that was part of Guatemala?
Originally, that was part of the Guatemalan country. Yep.
Wow. Didn't know. It's interesting. We're in Costa Rica. One of the tour guides kept bringing up United Fruit Company because they were basically running the whole show.
Yes. You see here, it's a book
One
about
sec. I think I read that. It's written by Rich Cohen.
yeah.
Yeah, I read that book. That's a great book.
It tells you and plays into the manipulation. Now, the interesting thing is this guy goes on to to I mean help Israel.
Yeah,
He was
A Jewish
crazy,
guy. I think the funniest thing, this Jewish guy becomes king of
right?
bananas. It's
But he ends up using this huge power structure
yeah,
to then help Israel.
yeah, yeah.
So, I always think to myself, how complicated is God's plans for us?
Of all people, yes, of all
I
people.
mean, here's a guy who ends up living in Israel. Then afterwards, I think he went to Israel for a while. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's an excellent book. So somebody said, "Where'd you get that book?" I said, "It just sounded interesting." When I finished it, I said, "I'm glad I read it. There's something I never would have learned." Hi, Ernie.
Hi.
It is.
We have to go to the Gaza Hilton for Pesach.
Trump,
Either that or the Trump Hilton. I don't
he
know.
is so funny.
We're gonna take it over. It's
Who's going to be the people, the world people?
the world.
Can I tell you something? I think what he's trying to do is that the structure that we've created to manage that isn't working. So what he's saying is you got to change who's there and make it so that there's new people coming in.
It's just that who thinks of such a thing? Okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think that the beauty of it is that it's somebody that thinks outside of the box. The other thing is, I think that they're seriously considering allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. I think they're seriously considering that. I think he is committed to the idea that there is no two-state solution, which I think is, thank God, because I think Biden's team, in particularly Blinken, was committed to a two-state solution.
Yeah. Definitely.
Right. Well, the Palestinians want a one-state solution, and they want to be in charge.
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
You want to laugh? The best line came out of the ex-Kenyan president, the president of Kenya, because they canceled all the aid. It has to be on a country by country, and it's going to go through
Rubio
now. So he says, when the people started crying, he said to them, he has absolutely no reason to give you anything. You didn't pay any taxes in America. This is the ex-president of Kenya.
Oh my God! Did you see Schumer and the women?
Oh my God! The beer and the avocado and
they're crying or they're singing. They're literally out of their minds. If they think that the people, why are they so upset? This is our tax money flying out the window. Yet they're making it sound like this is the worst tragedy in the history of mankind. They're digging themselves deeper and deeper in the hole. They
look foolish, like idiots.
They think Washington, D.C., this is this little thing. They don't know what's going on in the rest of the world.
Right.
Well, I think that the biggest thing is such an insult to the tax-paying public when they start seeing how many of these idiotic things they're trying to.
So why do they think this is a winning strategy? Finally, they found something to attack Trump with. This?
Yes. Yes.
It's so stupid.
It is what they got.
Yeah.
Well, listen, he's trying to fire 5,000 to 10,000 FBI agents, anyone that was involved in the January 6th things.
Investigation.
Okay. The thing is, you're some young FBI nobody, and you're given an assignment. You got to, find some data regarding this and this and this. I mean, they're just doing their job. Were they really? Yeah, there were probably people in the upper echelon that were after Trump. No question about it. But all those little functionaries that they get, that they gave jobs to do, I'm not sure you can really fire them. Now, maybe you can, but there's rules that govern HR. You have to have cause, etc. So that they're gonna fight. They're gonna take it to court. That people don't want to lose their jobs. He's taking it too personal. Yeah, go after the leaders that went after you, but the little.
No, Ernie, I think that part of what he's trying to do, and I don't want to take time away from learning. I think he's trying to reduce the workforce in all of these places. He feels that part of what's happened is that the bureaucracy has become so overwhelming that any way that they can get rid of a fixed amount of that population is going to be a benefit to the country.
Yes,
I can't argue with that.
I can't argue with that either.
Yep. But I think that that's why we're seeing the meshugas that we're seeing right now. He's saying, look, guys,
Yeah,
the way
the
things are
the way of
going,
doing it, the way of doing it in the past is not going to be status quo.
correct.
I think he'll get a lot of credit for that. I will.
Yep, I totally
Okay.
agree with you. I think the biggest bracha for the U.S. right now with this guy is that he thinks outside of the box for a change. He doesn't let, because something hasn't been done in a new way, not to try it. And I think for us with Israel and the Middle East and the U.S., that's a beginning. Some of the things he's going to do, I'm sure, are going to be wrong. Where are we?
We're on Memtes Amud Aleph 49.
Okay.
Asyu Yoav Dayone. They brought Yoav, who was the chief of staff of David HaMelech's army, in front of Shlomo HaMelech for a court case. Amarle, my time of katlate la Avner. Avner was the chief of staff of Shaul HaMelech. But Avner was very righteous, and he was already working with David HaMelech. He wasn't opposed to David HaMelech. And we learned this in Navi, that Yoav killed Avner. So, and if you remember, as part of before David HaMelech died, he gave Shlomo HaMelech, his son, instructions. I want you to kill Yoav. Don't let Yoav, go to his grave in a peaceful way. He also, Doeg Adomi, who cursed him, he said the same thing. So dealing with Yoav, Shlomo HaMelech brought him to court. And they asked him, my time at Avner, why did you kill Avner? I was family of Asoel. Avner killed Asoel, so I had the right to go after whoever killed my family member. So Shlomo says to Yoav, Asoel rodef hayu. Yeah, but Asoel was trying to kill Avner. Avner just protecting his own life when he killed Asoel. He had the right to kill him. So you as the Goel Adam don't have a right to, in turn, kill Avner. So Yoav responded, Omar hayalo latzilo be'echad mevar. The din by a rodef. You see somebody running after somebody with a knife to kill him. If you can stop the guy by shooting him in the leg rather than killing him, you should do that. So Yoav tells Shlomo Melech, Avner, rather than killing Asael, should have wounded Asael, not have to necessarily kill him. Omer lo yochole. They were running. Avner and Amasa were running. So it wasn't easy for him to wound him rather than kill him. So Yoav doesn't accept. Amar hashta b'doifen chamishis kivin loy. The pasuk says that Yoav killed Avner at the fifth rib. Dichsiv vayakeu Avner ba'achrei chanit el achomesh. V'amar Rav Yochanan b'doifen chamishis b'mokem shemor v'kovet tluin bo. On the right side, where the gallbladder and the liver are there, and he knew it would be, and he was a very specific place. So if he could focus and throw the spear right at that place, then he certainly could have thrown it in his leg. That's not an excuse. He should have been able to kill him, but wound him. Okay, so Shlomo Melech now Nazel Avner. So Shlomo didn't have a reason anymore to kill Yoav because of Avner, because Yoav was able to defend himself. So my time at Katlose la Amosa. So in retrospect, they're asking Avner, why did you kill Amasa? Omer Amasa moed b'malchus haven. I didn't kill him because he was a rodev. He deserved to be killed because he was rebelling against the king. David HaMelech, Shenema. Vayomer HaMelech l'Amasa, hazekli as ish Yudah, I need you to gather the Judean men, Shloshes Yomim, Vayelech Amasa lazik es Yudah, v'yuchar, but he was late. He didn't do it in time. Because he didn't do it in time. Oh, I'm sorry. This is this Yoav killed two people. He killed Avner and he killed Amasa. So now he defended himself against Avner. Now Shlomo was asking, why did you kill Amasa? So Yoav said, we paskined him up. He was a moed b'malchus. He didn't listen to David. He didn't show up in 3 days. Amarle. So Shlomo said, Amasa achim v'rachim doreh. There it says ach and rak, which is a miut in the psukim that deal with how you're supposed to listen to a king. And what was the story? The Bnei Yehuda were in the yeshiva learning Gemara. Omar. He said, Kol ish asher yamres picha v'lo yishmaz dvarecha l'chol asher titzavenu yumat. Yoshua said, whoever doesn't listen to you will have to be put to death. That's the power of Melech Yisrael. Yachol afilu divrei Torah. I might think that if the king gives orders to Jews to do something,
Magna Cat.
Yeah, hi.
maybe it's only going to work if it doesn't lead to Bittul Torah. Perhaps if it leads to Bittul Torah, they don't have to listen to the Melech. Talmud Omer, Rak Chazak Be'ematz. Right? The Rak says,
Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay. Okay, bye.
is everything okay?
Not a problem. It's fine.
So the Rak comes to say that you don't have to listen to the Melech if they're learning Torah. So Amasa, turns out, was Kedin. He was not Moed b'malchus. Ela hu gavra Moed b'malchus. Rather, Yoav was a Moed b'malchus because Vashmo bad Yoav ki Yoav nata achrei Adoniyav. If you remember, after David HaMelech died, Shlomo's brother Adonijah tried to be king. And not only that, Yoav followed him. Ve'achrei Avshalom lo nata. He had not followed Avshalom, but he followed Adonijah. Now, what does it mean, my lo nata? Amar Yehuda, shebikesh lintos v'lo nata. He initially wanted to follow Avshalom, but in actuality did not. My taima. Lo, nata, why? He was still fearful of the power of David HaMelech. Rav Yosef Rachin Omar, Adayin Itzdagnine, the base David Kayomim, the koach and the mazel of David HaMelech was still present. Omar Ravin Omar Rav, Arba Meos Yolodim, Haylo David. He had 400 children that he had by living with an Kulam B'nei Yifas Toar. When you fight in battle, you're allowed to take a pretty woman and live with her. All of these were children of the Yifas Toar. Umigdali Bluriyasai, they had a special haircut that made them look fierce. Umahalchin Barosha Gaisus Ayu, they were the generals. Ve'ein Bali Agrufin Shel David, they were like the strong legions of David HaMelech. So Yoav was afraid of David still. That's why he didn't follow Avshalom. However, Upligi, this is in contradistinction to the way Rav Abba Bar Kahana learns. The Amar Rav Bar Kahana, Mali David, Lasa Yoav Melchama. If David HaMelech was not occupied in learning Torah, Yoav would not have had success in battle. And vice versa. Imola Yoav lost like David b'Torah. David would not have been able to learn Torah without the protection that Yoav, as the chief of staff, provided. Because it says, Vayi David asam meshpet v'tzedakah l'chol amo. David is doing righteousness and justice. The Yoav ben Sruel al tzava, and Yoav is running the military. And the Gemara darshans, Matam David osa mishpat tzedakah. Why does it work out that David can do this? Mishum sheYoav al tzava. Umatam Yoav al tzava mishum David osa b'mishpat tzedakah. It's reciprocal. Torah learning helps the army helps Torah learning. Okay. It says, Vayetze Yoav mi'im David. Vayishlach malachim achrei Avner. Vayashuvu oso mibor Sira. Yoav sent messengers after Avner. What does this mean, my bor Sira? Amrav Abba bar Kahana, bor v'sira garmul la Avner shihareg. The boar and a sira caused Avner to be killed. He helped Shaul in chasing after David. It says, "Vayateu Yoav el toch hashar l'daber ito bashali." Yoav sort of moved to the gate to speak quietly. Amrav Yechnon, Shadanu din Sanhedrin. They did it din. Amrlo, my time at katlose la shoel. Yoav asked him, why did you kill us soil? So he said, he was running after me to kill me. So Yoav told him, you should have wounded him. I couldn't do it. So what do you mean? You were able to exactly hit him there. So what does it mean? He had his own, he wanted to kill him, so he had his own trickery. In the fifth rib, so just a repetition of that. The bor v'sira was, if you remember when they were in the cave and David cut off a corner of Shaul's coat. So because David was showing that he was saving Shaul, but Avner gave Shaul the idea, no, maybe like an animal bit it off. He tried to lessen the goodness that David HaMelech tried to do for Shaul. That Yoav brought blood down on his head because he killed two people who were better than him. Toivim, shayu dorshan achim v'rakim. They darshan the ach v'rak that limited the power of the king. V'hu loy darash. So they were better gedolim than him in Torah. Tzadikim, shehein b'peh. Shaul commanded Avner to kill the Nov Irakani v'lo asu, but they didn't carry it out. V'hu bi geres. Yoav received a letter from David to kill Uri Achiti, and he did it also. It says, "Va'amsa lo nishmar b'cher v'asher b'yad Yoav." Amsha was not watching that Yoav draw his sword. Amarav, shloi choshto. He didn't think that Yoav would kill him. Vayikaver b'veiso b'midbar. It says he was buried in his house in the desert. What do you mean? Beiso midbaru? Arid Amarav? Kim midbar. Ma midbar mufkar lakol. Just like a desert, anybody can go into a desert. Av Beiso Yoav mufkar lakol. All the aniyim would come into the house of Yoav. So Yoav was a big balstaka. Davar acher kimidbar ma midbar menukam migezav arayos. There is no thievery and no immorality in the desert because no people there. Av Beiso Yoav menukam migezav arayos. He was a tzaddik. It says V'Yoav yichya et sha'ara ir. He dealt with the poor of the people. Afilu munyuni v'tzichtasatam parim luhu. He provided even fancy herring and sardines so that the anim wouldn't lack of anything. Harlach Nigmar Din, Harlach Nigmar Din, Harlach Nigmar. New Parak Shvi. Arba Misas Nimsur Lebezdin. There are 4 types of capital punishment: skila, stoning; sreifa, swallowing molten lead; hereg, having your head cut off; lechenek, being choked with a garrote. Reb Shimon Omer sreifa, skila, chenek, hereg. He holds sreifa is worse than skila. Zu mitzvahs aniskolim. And the following is going to be the various averas that bring you skila. Amarav, Amarav, Schoir, Amarav Huna. This Mishnah starts out by giving us a number 4. Whenever we're given a number in mukdam u'mu'uchar, then there's really no set order. Chutz mishiva samonim. When we find a spot of blood on the garment of a woman, to tell whether it's blood or not, we use a product with 7 ingredients that we see if it erases blood, then we know that it's blood. So Tanan, Shiva Samanim Avir Lakesem. Rok Tafel, that's saliva, early in the morning. Ume Grisin, saliva from a person who is, after he eats beans. Me Raglaim, urine. Neser, like ammonia, uburis, borax. Komuli va'ashlech, other some kind of grass comes from grass. Uktani sefer hevira. If you dip the blood not according to the order, shalok kasidran, o shavirin shivasan kech, do it in one time. That means you have to create 7 different pools, and then you dip. You have to do it in that order. Loss of laklum. Rav Papa Sava, Mishmei Rav Omar, of Arba Misois. That the order of skila, sreifa, hereg, v'chenek is a specific order. Midi Kapala Reb Shimon, you see Reb Shimon argues. Shmamina dafka ktani. Now the idich Rav Schoira, who doesn't list our Mishnah as one that's necessarily giving in a certain order, but plukta lo komairi, because any time that there was a machlokes, he doesn't deal with. Rav Papa Amar Av Seder Yuma, the order of the avodah on Yom Kippur that the Kohen Gadol has to do has to be done the exact order. It's not. Kol Ma'aser Yom Kippur Ma'amur Mal Seder, it has to be done according to the order in the Mishnah. Im Higdi Ma'aser L'Chavero, you did one act before another, loss of loklum. You have to start from the beginning. Now, the other person doesn't mention that, says, it's not really mikra din, it's just a chumrah. Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua Omar, Af Seder Tomid. The order about the Oilas HaTomid has to be done in Dafka, that order. The Tani Allah. Zeh Seder Tomid. This you have to do this first, this second. The idich, the other Tana didn't learn that, is lemitzvah la'alma. Mitzvah and a mufchor to do it in that order. But if you didn't do it in that order, it's also okay. Now, la'afukim and mitzvahs chlitza. That the various things that you have to do in chlitza doesn't have to be done in a specific order. It's not. Mitzvahs chlitza. You have Reuven and Shimon. Reuven dies without children. Shimon has to come and do chlitza to Reuven's wife. Bahu v'yavimto l'fnei Bezdin. Shimon and Reuven's wife comes to Bezdin. Hayu nosin lo eitza ohegenes lo. The Dayanim would give advice if they thought there should be chlitza or yibum. Shenemar v'karu lo ziknei rova dibru elav. They have to talk to him. If he decided chlitza, he omeres, she says, me'en yivami, my brother-in-law doesn't want to fulfill the yibum. V'hu omer lo chafati l'kachtan. He has to say, I don't want to marry her. U'v'lashon hakadosh hayu omer. You have to say it in Hebrew. V'niksha yivim to elav le'neas kenim. She has to come close to the guy in front of the kenim v'chaltzanol and remove his shoe. The yarka b'fanav and spit in his face. Ra kaniri l'dayonim. The dayonim have to see the spit. The ansa ve'amra kacha yaseh le'ish asher lo yivnez beis achiv. She has to say this is going to happen. V'nikra shmo b'Yisrael beis chalutza now. Lam ravina mitzvahs chlitza. The order is like this: koira he. First she reads v'koira who. But let's us first she takes off his shoe. Roikekes she spits v'koira. Ve'avina, but my kamashmalon. I mean, what was this other statement? I mean, masnisim. We already learned it in the Mishnah. Kamashmalon mitzvah hachi. The epech leslan bo. Mitzvah and amucha is to do it in that order. But if you didn't do it in that order, they'll be okay. The chlitza will still be okay. Taina ma'achi, bein shehigdim chlitza l'rekika. If she removed the shoe before spitting, or rekika l'chlitza, the spitting before the chlitza, mashasas, it's still okay. Lafukim hadisnan, to exclude from what we learned, kohen gadol mishamish b'shmona kelim. A kohen gadol has to use 8 garments. V'hedyot ba'arba. Kutonet, kutonet is like a shirt, mechnasayim the pants, mitznefet is the hat, va'avneit is the belt. Umois v'alen kohen gadol, choishen, the breastplate, the ephod, that's the thing that hangs from his neck, umi'il, the jacket, v'tzitz. V'tanya minayin shlo yeh davar kodem lemechnasayim. He has to put on his pants first, because it says ksonis baz kodesh yilbash, u'michnasei vad yiyu absaro. So the pants are first. So the minyan in the Mishnah is not the same as the Tana my time agdame. Why did the Tana say this has to go first as akutonis? Mishum agdame kra, because the Torah wrote it first. Ukra my time agdame. Why did the Torah write it first? Mishum b'chase kula gufe adifale, because it covers his whole body. They would rather have that put on first. Okay, we'll stop here because we started a new sugya. So tomorrow we'll learn at 7 o'clock. Tonight we'll learn tonight we'll learn the Tzur at 8 o'clock.
Very good.
Very good. Bye-bye.